Michael D. Tidwell here, and welcome back to the newest segment of the China Doll podcast called Powered by Music, where we talk about everything music. We are joined, of course, with your favorite host, Anna Cassim from the China Doll podcast, and the incredibly lovely, incredibly talented singer, songwriter, vocal artist, Celica Soldream. Celica, thank you so much for jumping on board with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
I love that. I love her vibe. I love her name.
Yes.
Hi guys. It's been long
Yes.
overdue for this segment to start. So I'm really excited, really pumped to get to know more about Celica and all. Like I love her vibes already right off the start. I'll tell you that.
Thank you so much.
It's the name for me.
It's
It's the
definitely
name.
the name. It's the name for us. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it has a funny story about my name, but yeah.
Oh my. Well,
But it's not
definitely.
Really? Oh my God.
It's not my
I
real
can't
name,
wait.
of course. Okay, but yeah.
Definitely want to talk about that. Yeah, guys. So just to give a backstory on how me and Celica met, how we actually all met was through the project that I'm currently working on called Serenity Soundscapes, 5-song EP that houses a lot of different elements on the different seasons of weather. And Celica was the second feature of the Serenity Soundscapes EP on a single called Beaches and Backrubs, which she did so incredibly wonderful on. 12 of the hottest ambient producers in the game had said wonderful, incredible feedback. You can actually view those feedbacks on my website at michaeldtidwell.com. And she did so incredible. Celica, what was your overall thought whenever I first sent you the Beaches and Backrubs instrumental? What was going through your mind?
Well, sorry, my mic decided to suicide right now.
It's all good. It's
Sorry.
all good.
Normally when a composer normally contacts me through email or Facebook or something like that, first thing I normally do is try to look for her or his staff and see what kind of music is he or she doing, and see if I really fit in what she or he is interested to do. I'm sorry about my English, by the way.
You're doing
and
fine.
in your case, I when you already sent me some previews of things that you already composed and some songs to have a reference, and I said, wow, this guy is really cool. I mean, I like this kind of music.
Thank
And it
you.
really remind me like this kind of vibe, chill, meditating music that I used to use when I was younger. And that was really like, pick my curiosity to say, I think this might be interesting. It's like it's not the typical thing I'm used to do with composers and producers, but I think I can do something cool. I think I understand what kind of vibe is he looking for.
Mm.
So yeah, I think I'm definitely in this project.
Yeah, you're very versatile with your styles.
Yeah.
A lot of what I've heard before that you've done was very, very cinematic, in which you've worked with some of the biggest composers in the game, Joe Blankenberg, Ivan Torrent. You've done some crazy stuff. I'm
Thank you.
very impressed with your work. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
100%.
yeah, well, everything actually came by because of Ivan. Actually, he was
Mm.
like my, I don't know what's the word what's the word in English, but it was like my father in this world.
Wow.
Also Eduardo Tarilonte, he was like he helped me a lot in the past.
Mm.
Try to understand how the studio works, how the industry works too. Also taught me how to use programs and software and everything, and
Oh, wow.
that was like the big push for me. And of course, if you work with something such big like Ivan's is, of course many people is gonna hear it, is gonna listen to
Yes.
that, and some composers will say, well, I like that girl, I think I'm gonna contact her. And that's
Yes,
how
yes.
everything grew up.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really cool that you mentioned that. I had no idea about Ivan kind of being that father figure to introduce you to the studio life, the
Yeah,
programming. That's
definitely
really
he did.
interesting.
He did.
Wow.
He did. Definitely.
Wow, that's really amazing because I know Mike is a really fan of him, and
Yeah,
that's
he
a
is.
really interesting detail that he definitely is.
Yes.
So am
Definitely.
I.
So
I
I
mean,
guess if you're
I was a
listening,
real fan. I'm still a real fan.
that's amazing.
Yeah, so Celica, what was your introduction with music? You know, how did you know that this was something that, you know, you were gifted with? You know, where was your start, you know?
Well, I don't know. I don't consider myself really musically gifted, if you ask me. Actually, the thing is that I've been singing since I can remember.
Okay.
I mean, since I was very little. In fact, I think the first person who probably realized that I had something with music was my father, who
Wow.
gave me for Christmas. I was, I don't know, 3 years old, something like that. He gave me he made this present that was a microphone, a real microphone that we
Nice.
could put into a jack with the with the music thing. I don't know, and I could hear myself sounding through the speakers the whole time. And I remember I used to sing a lot of Michael Jackson in that way. He was like my
Nice.
and I even had some video recordings of me singing up with the microphone around. I think he was the first one who actually realized that I had something with music, you know,
Nice.
which was curious because in my family, just my brother and I, we had this music ear developed somehow, because the rest of my family, they are not definitely music gifted. So I mean, it's okay, but I think it's something that I really inherit from my grandmother, my mother's mother. Actually, I heard that she used to sing very well when she was younger,
Wow.
and probably that is when it comes from. But I think the main thing that actually made me got into music since very little was my father and my mother putting me a lot of styles of music the whole time, especially Michael Field, Michael Jackson, Vangelis, or a Spanish band who is called Héroes del Silencio, Heroes of the Silence, translated in English. And that's what actually made me like very sensible
Yeah.
to music, you know what I mean? Especially to recognize melodies and everything, because I don't know, I remember being 8 or 9 years old and being, you know, with my parents in the car, and they was playing the Two Last Bells 2, Michael Field's album, and I
Nice.
could sing every single instrument independently from the others, and they were like, oh my gosh, how do
Ooh,
you hear that? It's because
that's cool.
I listened to that so many times that I had completely, you know, on my memory, and I could recognize well, not every single, but most of the instruments since very little. So I think that that's when they realized that, well, we put her music a lot when she was a child. So parents of the world, please put music to your children. It's
Yes.
the best way to make
Definitely.
them to familiarize
Yes.
with music, you know, and to be more sensible with them. With it. So
Yeah.
that's my advice.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. No,
love that.
that's cool.
Yeah, I love that. How can you say that you're not talented? Because in itself takes a talent. So you aren't very talented in our eyes, definitely.
Well, I think I'm a little over. I mean, I'm a little over the average, but I'm not like. I mean, I'm a singer teacher. I already knew a lot of people with real talent, and I can say I'm not mostly talent, but what I did is to work a lot in music since I was very little. Um, that was you know, when you are persistent in something, like you keep it for a long time, eventually you're gonna rise up, especially when you're younger. If you're a teenager or you're a child, that's the best way to increase, you know, if you are good or not on something. So if I had this little talent, I don't think it's just talent, but the thing is that I really like it. It's something I really enjoy it. For me, it was like a game when I was a kid, and that's what actually made me, you know, to grow up in that way, in that direction, and you know, in other direction, you know what I mean? So it's not just about of talent, it's also hard work, and you
Right.
know, to be constant over the time. So I think that that's my secret, if you can call it a secret.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. That's a really nice message, for especially for the younger generation. So
Yeah,
thank
that's
you for
it.
that. I love that.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, it seems as if with what you're saying, Celica, you're definitely and with all of us, we're all a work in progress, and you could have the best talent in the world, but if you don't have that discipline, that consistency,
That's it.
you're not going to go anywhere. And I definitely
Definitely.
consider us to be kind of like a seed within our craft, and we're just continuing to bloom over time, and we demand that perfection, and we demand that discipline, that we can always do better type of attitude. So of course, it's very
Definitely.
understandable that you're going to say, things as if like, you're not there yet. And it's okay. I feel like we're kind of all in that same boat, respectively. And hey, there's nowhere to go but up. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's
and
it. That's it.
yeah, and you're doing a great job with that. We
Thank
definitely
you.
commend you on that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Celica, if you don't mind me asking, with respect to music, what does it mean to you personally?
That's a deep question.
Yes. Yes.
Well, it means everything for me. I mean,
Mm,
as you say, I've been with music since I can remember. So yeah, I just don't imagine life without music.
mm.
Especially, I mean, especially with, I can move with every type of music. Maybe not reggaeton. That's something I don't like much. Not. I mean, I think it's okay, respected. It's not like my cup of tea. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I've been doing things with music. I mean, since I can remember. I think it's something that is mm, like, yeah, very inner on my parents' educations too,
Mm,
and that's why for me it's everything. I mean, every time if I go to sleep, I'm listening to music. If when I wake up, I sometimes I put podcasts or music or whatever. If I
mm,
write, if I draw, if I doing whatever, I'm always with music. And one of the things that actually I realized why I got too much into instrumental
mm.
cinematic soundtrack music was because of Michael Phil. I think he is actually my fab composer
Mm.
ever.
Yes.
Because I grew up with him,
Mm,
basically, and that's how I kind of understood music from another point of view, not just the pop rock, which of course I also hear listen to a lot.
mm,
um and I don't know, I think it was something natural for me, like to focus myself into the music thing, and make it like a way of life, and I
gotcha.
just I think it's something that actually connects you with the rest of the people,
Mm,
and also which guides your feelings, guides your dreams, your way you think everything. I can tell there is a big difference with people which is like very deeply connected to music, with people
mm,
which is not that deeply connected to music. I can say that there is something that it is like the perfect channel to send a message, because it's something that you will understand even if you
mm.
don't speak the same language. You know what I mean? So that's what I think.
100%.
That's beautiful. That is very beautiful. And it touches me because I have a child. She's 6 years old and she loves to sing.
Oh,
So the things that you're saying that you experienced when you were little, I see very much in her.
yeah, that's
And I very much always express their creative side. So thank you for that. I love that.
you're more than
It
welcome.
just it's inspiring me to help her pursue if that's what she wants to do,
That's it.
music. So I love
If,
that. I love that you said that.
thank you.
So, Celica, are you doing music full time?
Definitely, yeah.
Wow.
Well, currently well, I've been working in a singing school for I think it's 6 years now,
Mm,
because my old teacher, they needed more personnel there, but they are very exigent with the persons that I mean with the teachers levels. You know what I
mm.
mean? They want really good teachers there. And she was the director at the time, and she said, okay, you know what, you're gonna be a teacher. And I said,
Wow.
okay. And she like prepared me for a year before I started, taking students, and eventually I started like build my own place there. and
Ooh.
that I normally work on the school normally 3-4 days of the week,
Mm.
and the rest of the week I mainly, if I'm not composing, I'm remotely recording on my studio, or I don't know, doing covers or whatever. I mean, yeah, definitely it's full time. And
Nice.
it was a hard decision for me actually, because I
Mm.
made the decision of, to focus myself on music when I was studying psychology at the university.
Mm.
And there's a time when you are an artist, there's a time of your life that you have to, like make the hard decision. Am I
Right.
going to, bet for this for what I really like to do, or I'm gonna keep like the safe way, and see what happens. And I say, okay,
Mm.
you know what? I'm gonna take the risk. I'm a singer, I'm a musician. Music
Mm.
is my life, so I'm gonna go, this way.
Mm.
And I quit at the university, and I started, studying harmony, composing, music, language, everything, and like put all my effort on the singing and music lessons,
Mhm.
and that's what I'm doing now.
I love it. That's cool that you took
I
that
love
took that
that.
dive. That's awesome.
That it is. No, no, it
Following your
wasn't that awesome for
dream.
my parents. They weren't that agree at the time, but eventually they understood.
Right.
Following your
That's so
dreams.
cool.
I love that.
Thank
Because
you.
me and Mike really connect with that. That's the whole message of our podcast. We love inspirational people like you that are following their dreams, no matter what that is. And it's just more beautiful that it is music, because music is a part of you guys' life and everyday things. And that's one of the reasons that connected me with Mike, the fact that
Mm,
he's always dreaming and going for his dreams. So I love that you are saying that, and that's a great message to the audience,
yeah,
to
he does.
always follow your dreams no matter what.
Mm.
He does. He definitely does. So guys, follow your dreams, but please try to be nice with your parents, because they won't understand on the first
Aw.
time. But be patient, because eventually they're gonna realize that if it's something that you really like, and you are gonna put all your energy in that,
Mm.
and you are gonna see the results, and it's gonna be good for you, and they will understand that you were meant for that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Your parents are only thinking on the best for you,
Mm.
even if they don't agree
Yes.
with you.
There you go.
That is true. Yes.
Speaking of the best, Celica, I want to talk about the best and biggest project that you've ever been a part of. Can you say like what has been the best and biggest project that you've been
Ooh.
participant with?
Well, I've been, I mean, not in many, but in some very big interesting projects, especially with Joe Blackenberg and
Mm.
Ivan Sorens, of course, in his first album, Immortalis. But I think if I have to name like the big one, that was with Neil Acree. He's a very well-known composer from Los Angeles. He works
Mm.
for Blizzard Entertainment. He made a lot of soundtrack for video games.
Mm.
I had a collaboration with him for an indie video game which was called Rand, and
Mm.
in that time I could collaborate with Einar Seikvik, I think it's called like that. He's the singer of a very famous Viking band. It's called Wardruna, and it was
Wow.
a very incredible experience. And sometime, I mean, later than when we released that soundtrack, he called me because he needed very urgently, like I needed yesterday, a singer for a very interesting project. At the first time, he didn't tell me what it was about. I had to do the recordings without knowing very well what it was. I mean, like, I don't know why I'm doing this. He just rosely spoke to me about it. And
Mm.
a few months later, he told me that he was for World of Warcraft. It's a very important video game.
Wow.
For with a new expansion pack. It was Warbringers actually was at Sarah, and I
Mm.
was the opening of the cinematic trailer, and it was like,
Oh,
wow.
that's
And
incredible.
that was incredible. And they released they did like several cinematic trailers, and the last trailer was my trailer, and it was not mine, I mean with my voice.
Yeah.
And it was released on the GameCon, I think 3 or 4 years ago. So that meant
Oh,
that millions of people were watching it
wow.
in internet, or just live on the place. And I remember seeing the reactions through the internet, and I was like, oh wow.
Oh, wow. That's so
Uh,
cool.
that was so
So
cool.
cool.
I
Oh
think that
my
was the
gosh.
biggest.
That is
That was
cool.
the biggest. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Celica, you've done some incredible stuff. My favorite song that you've ever done that I listened to that really inspired me to reach out to you in general was Architects of Life with Ivan
Yeah.
Torrent.
Yeah.
That really hits me. That hits me on a whole new level. Every time I turn it on, even if it's
Yes.
like on the lowest volume, I'm still just like, oh my God, just overwhelmed with excitement. Can you
Yes,
can you
yes.
tell me a little bit about like how that process was with working with Ivan? You know, where was that introduction? How
Mhm.
did y'all just come introduced to each other?
Well, at the time, I think it was 2014, something like that.
Mm,
Um, I was doing just for fun some vocal covers, some instrumentals, songs from Two Steps from Hell, Audio Machine, and a
yes.
lot of composers that I really liked at the time. I was in 2013. I won a contest that Thomas Bergensen and Nick Phoenix did.
Oh yeah.
And because of the Skyworld album release. And I remember that Thomas Bergensen sent me. The prize was how it's called a ticket for the concert they made the first time in Los Angeles, which I
Ooh.
couldn't go because it was so far away,
Yeah.
sadly. But they sent me a copy of the album signed and with a little note, and the typical note that they made for every winner. But at the back side of the note, there was a handwritten note by Thomas Bergensen who only says,
Ooh.
keep
Wow.
doing this because you're really, I mean, like how it was, keep doing this because you are really meant for this music. And
Wow.
I was like, oh wow. So that like hyped me up, and I started doing a lot of covers, a lot of instrumental covers at the time. And one of those covers was Ivan Storan's Power of Will. And
Mm.
a funny thing, at the time I didn't know that he was Spaniard. I thought he was I don't know, German or Russian or something like that.
Right, right,
and
right.
so you can imagine my surprise when I remember I was late in the night. I was on my bed and I was checking Facebook with my phone, and suddenly it popped up a message on Facebook, and it was Ivan Sorens himself saying, "Hey, I listened to your cover. Your voice is amazing. I was wondering if you would like to work with me in a demo." And it was like, no
Oh,
way.
wow. That's
I
so
Wow.
remember
awesome.
I started like I was in the bed like this. No way. I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming. I started kicking myself. Like, no way, no
Oh,
way. This can't be true. But it was true. He was there. And I remember I was so nervous at the time because I didn't have a studio at the moment. I mean,
mm,
I had nothing. I didn't even have this room. I was on my parents' home at the time. And
mm.
in that age, I used a normal concert microphone, Shure SM58, like the battle microphone, and
Right.
I had to put the microphone on a pile of books to put it like this, and put these egg cages, on the top side, and then a
Yes.
blanket on the back, and everything like very, 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 very handmade,
Wow.
Yeah,
very,
yeah,
very
yeah.
do it yourself.
I
Awesome.
love
And
it.
that's what I used to record Crystallize and Architects of
Wow.
Life. And
Oh,
and
man.
he basically it was like, well, it's the first time I do like this, and he was very patient. That's why I say he was like my father in this music world.
Right.
Because he very patiently told me, it's okay, you just put the mic as you normally do, as you did with the covers. And he told me like a lot of types, how to record it in a better the better quality.
Right.
And yeah, that in that process I learned a lot. And actually, with the first payment he made for that two songs, then is when I bought my first studio microphone and a special sound card for that and everything. So it was like my first. That's what I say. He was my first push into this
So
world.
cool.
So yeah, it
That's
was a
so
very, very special.
inspiring.
It was very special.
Definitely, definitely.
Definitely,
It
yeah.
was meant to be. He's definitely es tu padrino. I want to say it in
Yeah, that's
Spanish,
it.
padre,
That's it. That's it. Just say it.
like a god, the Godfather. That it
That's
literally translates to
well,
Godfather.
I think the name we call in Spanish is mecenas. I don't know it's like being like
Yes.
your main Patreon, to say it like that,
Yes,
because maybe
yes.
Godfather is like
Yeah, sounds kind of like yeah. That's the best I can translate it because I'm from Mexico and you're from Spain, so it's different dialect there. But yes, yes,
Es mi
you're right.
padrino. Yeah.
Es tu padrino.
He is. He is.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, Celica, that's so incredible. I really wanted to take that deep dive there to, know where the introduction was with Ivan. What, if you don't mind me asking, what do you like better? Do you like working on, covers for yourself, like solo projects? Or do you like working with people? Do you like collaborations, a bit more?
Well, I don't think I have an actual preference. I mean, there's different experience. Of course, solo projects has an advantage that you are alone. You can work on at your own rhythm, and the communication with the composer or the producer is normally very directly. So it's faster and normally like more focused on the thing, and it's comfortable to go like that if you want to put like that. But collaborations has something very interesting is when you have more, I mean, one than more mind working on the same project is when actually magic happens, because maybe you can go through a way that maybe it wasn't intended the first time. But it also has a bad side, if you want it, is that it depends on the people you're working with. And
Sure.
if you're not, I'm not saying about to be good or mean or whatever. I'm talking about to be professional and to be like on the same wave, and for
Right.
example, I had a lot of collaboration with Abel Vegas, who was he's a Spanish composer as well. He worked with me many times and he helped me a lot with my first composition soundtrack for the Epic Women project.
Wow.
For example, with him, it's very easy to work with because we are on the same way, and every time we talk, it's more or less the same thing that actually happened to me with Michael. It's like we already know what we want, we understood completely each other. Or for example, now I'm working with Jig Row and guy who's called Prince Whatever, sorry, into this My Little Pony fandom project he's working on. And we three always, work very well together. And it's very interesting, to see the ideas of everyone and try to put everything together. And maybe something, we could put this instead of that. Oh yeah, that is so epic, go on. And, and it's like a very positive energy there. So
I love it.
yeah, I don't think there is a preference. It's just different. And if I'm lucky with collaborations, of course, I have a lot of fun, and it's like a really really nice experience for me.
I love it. I love it. If you were to have that choice, Celica, and I have to ask this, who would you want to collaborate with? Who is like your dream collaboration?
Ooh. That's difficult. Well, I think Thomas Bergensen, probably. I would
Nice.
like a lot to work with him. Or if I had to choose a film soundtrack composer, maybe I will choose Thomas Newman, I think.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Thomas
I like
Newman.
that. Yes. Oh, we're so in sync, Celica. It's like ridiculous. Oh my gosh. You love what I love.
He's so, how to put this? He's so I think now he's sensitive to say that. Yeah,
yes.
he's so sensitive. When he makes this, he really touches your heart. I mean, I've seen a lot of films with his soundtracks, and I can tell if I cry it's because of his music.
Yes.
I remember with this film, with the second part of Finding Nemo is Finding Dory. It's his soundtrack, and I remember there is a part that I started crying, and it was because of the music actually. And he really touched my heart, since I was such a fan of the Horror Whisperer when I was a kid.
Yes.
And yeah, he was one of my favorites so far. Well, my favorite was James Horner, but sadly he's not with us now. So if I have to choose, I think it would be Thomas Newman.
Yeah, Thomas Newman is definitely in line with and you could definitely probably relate with James Horner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just such a beast. It's unfortunate that he's not with us anymore, and it's just like, oh my gosh, he made the biggest impact.
Yeah, he made. I mean, I think Titanic was the first soundtrack album I ever had. I mean, physical edition, because I loved it so much.
Yeah.
He was so special. He was like, if you listen to one of those soundtracks, you rapidly recognize that that's him. You
That's
know
right.
that it happens to me also with Mike Oldfield too. Like if I listen to his guitar, it's like that's Mike Oldfield, and I
Wow.
only need two chords to recognize him because it's his way of playing, his way of, I don't know how to say that. I mean, something transcendental there. I don't know, but you can feel it. Like is him, and I would love to work with this kind of composers because that's the way I actually feel music, and that's what I really like of them. Because of course Hans Zimmer and everything, they're very good composers. It will be such a pleasure to work with them, but
Yes.
I know if for my personal taste the experience will be, I don't know, more wonderful with a composer that I know it's gonna, touch my heart with the music, and that's something
100%.
something that actually also happened to me with Ivan's mainly.
Awesome. I
Love
love it.
that.
Yeah, Celica, what are you working on right now?
Well, there are several projects I'm working right now, but the projects I can speak about, I'm working with Rosen, with this composer who makes like orchestral versions of soundtracks of vintage battle games, for example, for Zelda and these kind of things.
Love it.
And he recently contacted me to do another collaboration. I already collaborated with him in the past, but we're gonna do something together. No, maybe he didn't tell me a date, but I think it will be in 2 months or something like that. I don't know. And I have another one with Jigro and Prince whatever for Halloween for sure.
Nice.
I cannot speak too much about that, but stay
Love
tuned.
it. Love it. Celica, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it.
I love that.
Yes, getting
Thank you.
deep into what you've done, what you're currently working on, your background. We very much appreciate having you on board. If someone were to reach out to you via social media, your website, do you mind speaking about that? Where can people follow you?
Yeah, I have social media, but honestly I don't check it that much. Normally, if you want to work with me, the best thing you can do, please don't send me a message to my Facebook page because I barely check it. If you want to work with me, you have to send me an email to celica.soldream arroba
Yeah.
gmail, okay, .com.
Awesome.
And that's the way I 100% I'm gonna answer you, because otherwise I probably gonna miss it, or maybe you could spend days or weeks and you'll say, well, what happened with this girl? It's ignoring me. No, it's just I'm not that into the social media. So if you want to contact me, use the email, because that's 100% I'm gonna answer you.
Gotcha.
I love
Well,
that.
again, Celica, thank you so much for joining us. That just about wraps it up, guys. Thank you for joining us for this newest segment of the China Doll podcast called Powered by Music, where we talk about everything music. If you are a singer, songwriter, composer, producer, engineer, anything like that, definitely hit us up at the China Doll podcast on social media, or you can message me personally at Michael D. Tidwell. Thank you so much, guys, and stay tuned for the next episode. Love y'all.